enemies, I'm taking them apart. I'm a young boss, got me feeling like a rock. They can never...
Hey guys, welcome back to the Prime Dude Podcast. Your host Rob Edwards here, where I wear the stuff and I walk the walk. And we are talking about why a Blake-stitched shoe might be better for you than Goodyear welted. Now the reality is, most of you aren't ever going to need to resole a shoe. So should you be spending the extra money on a Goodyear welted shoe like this one from Allen Edmonds? This is their famous Park Avenue. And of course, I got a bunch of examples here. I've got TLB Mallorca up on the rack behind me, Alden. I love Goodyear welted shoes. And if you can afford it, it is a better shoe overall. But why not Blake-stitch? If you're wearing shoes once or twice a week, maybe once or twice a month, do you really need a dress shoe that is going to be resoled one day? Most of you are not. Most of us don't resole many shoes in our entire life, especially if you build up a shoe rotation. So this shoe from Beckett Simonon, and this is their Kent wingtip. It's a full brogue wingtip, fairly dressy. It is Blake-stitched. So instead of having that leather strip, that gemming that you have in a Goodyear welted shoe that makes it easier to resole, also makes it more water resistant. That leather acts as a better seal in case these shoes get wet, keeping water from getting inside the shoe and on your feet. A Blake-stitch isn't quite going to have that, but Beckett Simonon and others do other design things to help with that. They actually have this leather fold up of what is probably the midsole or even the outsole that almost looks like what's called a storm welt on the Goodyear welt. It's not. It's more aesthetic, but it does probably offer some extra splash resistance. And this shoe is $249. And when you get into a real good Goodyear welted shoe like this one, what I think from Allen Edmonds, or maybe even better at the same price range in the 400s, TLB Mallorca from the artisan line, the artisan line. Love that shoe. I'll do a review on it at some point pretty soon. You're getting what you pay for if you're wearing the shoe every day, if you think it's going to get wet and you want something long-term that's going to feel better to stand on because there's more structure with the actual midsole. But if you're just wearing dress shoes on occasion and you're not, you need something dressy that looks nice, you can spend some money, pretty good money, on a Blake-stitched shoe. This one's actually from Magnanni. It's Bologna stitch, meaning it's like a moccasin. The upper is kept in its entirety, and then the sole is Blake-stitched, which is stitched to the upper. You're going to have a lighter shoe, more flexible. Every time you see a Blake-stitched shoe, because there's less structure, they're lighter and easier to break in. They're much more comfortable out of the box. Again, there's a trade-off if you're wearing these long-term and they're going to be like an everyday shoe. But if you just need something for once in a while, weekends here and there, the occasional work event, why go $500-$600 into a shoe that you're never going to resole, that you're only wearing occasionally, when you can get something that's really dressy or kind of casual dressy? This one's a Blake-stitched shoe from To Boot New York. I got a lot of examples. Very flexible. I've already popped it up. This is the Avellino wingtip, leather sole, pretty simple. The leather upper is from Italy. This is a really strong shoe with people that don't know shoes. You find these in Nordstrom, Neiman Marcus. They're about $450. They claim the leather's Italian. I believe them. I just don't know what quality. Unlike so many of the other shoes I've invested in, I don't know what tannery they use. I mean, I know this one is Vachetta leather from Argentina. This is Beckett Simonon. I don't know where the leather comes from other than it's from Italy for a To Boot New York shoe, but it's a really sleek, very Italian-like last. It's got this nice broguing. It's, again, a wingtip, a full brogue, and a great dressy Oxford shoe, right? The inside lacing system under the vamp. This will go great with suits. I've worn it. This is a super comfortable shoe out of the box. It's extremely lightweight. It's the lightest shoe I can find in my collection. And if you're not wearing dress shoes every day, you're probably not going to ever have to worry about wearing through this leather sole. Now, just because you don't need a Goodyear welted shoe doesn't mean you'll buy one. But just keep that in mind for those of you or those of us that have different shoe needs. Not every shoe needs to be like this one, the Magnolia from Fitzpatrick. Haven't had a chance to wear it yet, but it's got this beautiful, what do we call them? Closed channel soles. So you can see a difference here when you look at like the Park Avenue. You can see the actual Goodyear welt stitching with the closed channel option here. This essentially this burnished piece of leather over the top with the beautiful toe tacking here. Just a great style point, but this is a Goodyear welted shoe. You just don't see the stitches. And so this is a shoe, again, I can have resoled. It's a beautiful traditional black cap toe Oxford, really high quality leather that Justin Fitzpatrick decides and uses. And of course, I'm going to put the link below. I just released my first ever J. Fitzpatrick footwear review on the Goodyear Welted Wenatchee from the JF line in Sangria. It's a beautiful semi-brogue. Check it out. This is my second purchase from J. Fitzpatrick footwear. Going to have a chance to wear this soon and excited. This is Goodyear Welted. If you want to spend the $400 or $500, sometimes close to $600 from shoemakers like this, you're going to get great construction. You're going to be able to resole it. It's going to be stronger. You can tell when I bend, right? It's not as easy. It's not as flexible as this piece, a suede loafer from Ferragamo. Now, this is a $1,000 retail loafer. This is a beautiful, very comfortable. Going with the Blake-stitch option, this is more of a Bologna, so it's got this full moccasin wrap of the upper, goes all the way around your foot with the continuous leather lining and then the insole sewn to that. So it's like a slipper and it feels like it. This is very famous for Ferragamo. They like the rubber soles. They have their own stitching. It's like Tarachi, I'm drawing a blank. Their kind of construction method, which I believe was used on this loafer that I bought a couple years ago. And you just you can't beat it for a Blake stitch shoe. So the Bologna stitch involves that wrap, but what they're doing is they actually Blake stitch the rubber sole to that wrapped moccasin-like upper. And so this is a very easy loafer to wear. It's not something I'm going to wear every day. I could wear it a long time because the rubber sole is kind of their sort of hack. This is going to last a lot longer than a leather sole, right? Leather's going to wear down. You can tell I haven't worn these yet. And that's the sad thing about this beautiful closed channel stitching. One wear on concrete, it's all scraped up. It doesn't look any good, right? It starts looking like this. And I think this is why the beautiful Oxfords, like you go back to the TLB Mallorca and a Goodyear welted shoe, why these street city soles, these rubber soles are becoming more and more popular, because I don't think anyone cares whether you have a leather sole or rubber sole now. I think they're very more than trendy. They're very stylishly accepted in business. And now you've got something practical, which is huge here in the United States. Shoe buyers are going to choose comfort. They're going to choose practicality over construction. It's just almost always the case. That's why shoes like Ferragamo, this one from Taboot, New York, and others do really well in retail, because people go into the store like I did with this one. You try it on, and a Blake stitch shoe is going to feel better immediately than your typical Goodyear welted Oxford shoe. Again, not a knock. Goodyear welted enthusiasts are going to be maybe, react to this. Head to head, a Goodyear welted shoe is better because there's more labor, there's more put into the construction. Another example I absolutely love, have a review coming for this one too, is a little more artistic. It's from Herring Shoes. It's Goodyear welted, and it's made by Carlos Santos. Herring's, by the way, I wanted to feature this one just to make sure I mentioned their online store. It's amazing. They got sales, and the last education's really good there. In the shoes, a lot of their brand, the Herring brand, are made by Carlos Santos, and there's also other English brands and shoemakers available on Herring. But this is a Goodyear welted shoe. You can see I'd not intentionally picked all these wingtips, these full brogues. It's got this cool navy suede combo in the vamp and the other parts of the shoe, but it's just a nice example of Goodyear welt. Now this again is what's called a flat welt. I can't remember if I mentioned that, as opposed to a storm welt, which you'll see that that gemming, that leather that makes this a Goodyear welt, that combines or connects everything for stitching, that is actually lipped up in a storm welt to add for extra water resistance. You'll see that in boots quite a bit, and it's a pretty cool feature. You tend to pay extra. Again, Goodyear welt is almost always going to cost you more than a Blake stitch shoe. Now, when you get into hand welt and you get in some Goodyear welt models like from Bridlin or from Blackbird, it's pretty incredible with the lower labor costs that you can get things in the $200, $300, or even under $400 range in that kind of construction, and go for it. But keep in mind, anytime you get a shoe that is Blake stitch, like this one from Magnanni, right? This is a rubber sole, very practical, Bologna construction as well. Magnanni is in that Italian range, what they like to do with that moccasin feel, like the Ferragamo. They've got the Blake stitch sole to the upper. The rubber's going to last you longer. This shoe, see the flexibility, because it's not Goodyear welted, is lightweight, and super comfortable out of the box. Now, unfortunately, you're paying for the stylistic points. You're paying for the Bologna construction. You're paying for the brand. Magnanni shoes are going to start in the $500 range, and they've got all kinds of exotic leathers. This is a cognac burnished cap toe, very simple, easy to style, a little artistic, but again, a great business shoe. But you're going to pay the price for something like this from TLB Mallorca and a Goodyear welted, you're going to pay the same price in this Bologna stitched, which is Blake-stitched sole from Magnanni, and you're not going to have that resolability or that water resistance that you have in a Goodyear welted or hand welted shoe. So which is it, right? Well, that's up to you. I just wanted to give you some information that Blake-stitched might be more than what you need depending on how often you wear the shoes, what your job is, what you're walking on. I mean, you get a rubber sole like this a couple times a month, once a month, you're probably never going to need to have any reconstruction or recrafting done to that shoe. Now, if you want something that's a tank, has some great style to it, like a hole cut, Goodyear Welt, this has the Norwegian stitch. This is a CNES Shoemaker hole cut. The vest in, it's really cool, it's made to order, and it is a tank, right? You can see here, I can do a lot more. Now, this is what's cool about this Blake stitch from Beckett Simonon, and they do a lot to this sole. Again, it's not Goodyear welted, but they've got this stylistic, it's more for aesthetics, almost like a storm welt. This is probably like the midsole folded up and then stitched out over to give you a little splash resistance. It's not like a storm welt you get on a Goodyear welted shoe, or something I'd have here with this Norwegian stitch. You pay extra for this in a hole cut. This is going to be super water resistant, as much as I would never want to get water on this. But again, you got your beautiful fiddleback waist, beautiful design leather sole, Goodyear welted, stronger, but more expensive. That's an over $600 shoe right now. So it's all up to you guys. I wanted to provide that for you. Drop your comments down below. Let me know if you have more questions, if you find Blake stitch better for you, if you're a once in a while dress shoe wearer, or even if you are, you just prefer having something that's Goodyear welted just to have it long term, because you never know if things change. That makes it an investment. There's nothing wrong with that. Drop your comments and questions. Let me know what you think. I really appreciate you guys coming by and checking out the show, seeing the differences between Blake stitch and why it might be better for you, why not. And let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, hit that button on the alerts. The show's growing. I appreciate all your support, your comments, your feedback, and as always, stay prime.